out into any other type of vehicles on your channel, or are you just going to stick strictly with bikes, or you might get some other bikes that you can ride and review like you have the Challenger?
If I
Or
can't with that, that's got to be Indian, right?
Um, no,
Oh no, okay.
I mean there are um, different things that go along with the ambassadorship,
Hmm.
but part of that though is that they want us to be us, right? We
Yeah.
are we are at least the all the ambassadors that I've met, which has pretty much been all of them. We're all motorcycle people, so we love motorcycles. So there's no really limit on the types of bikes that you can do or things like that. But there's a whole bunch of other things that go along with it as far as the rules, and I don't want to get too far into that. But
Yeah.
sure.
I do plan on expanding into other bikes. But one of the things that comes with the ambassadorship program is access. Okay. I have a little bit more access than what I would normally have just as a regular person in with some situations, right? And when I go to, because I've tried this before, go branch out to other companies, brands, or whatever the case may be, I just don't have that access. So for me to go up there and be like, "Hey, I'd like to do a review on this brand new $20,000 crotch rocket,"
Hmm.
they're probably like, well, if you ain't buying it, what I'm saying, you ain't riding my bike. So that's kind of where the ambassador to me has been quite beneficial. I know this wasn't the question, but um,
What
that is part of it.
I know, Riding Fish was talking about like he went down to California and he asked Indian for a couple of bikes and they just gave them to him. No,
Heck
and it
yeah,
wasn't
man.
just like small bikes; they were the best bikes you probably could get. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
And then
So
then
those
he tore him up. Just kidding.
Nah. So I think he was an ambassador for the Chief release, the
Hmm.
new updated Chief, and then when the Pursuit came out. So I came on afterwards. So there hasn't been a bike release since I've started the program,
Hmm.
at least not like a new like platform. So um, I haven't had that opportunity to get one of the new bikes and take it 20,000 miles or something. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Mhm.
hopefully that comes around.
Well, I think Indian needs to do the same thing that Harley did. They kind of let some things leak out of the little factory. Little couple pictures here or there, some shadows and stuff. And it's like we know there's
Yeah,
something coming. We know there's something coming because the Indian rep at the dealership said, and I'm not going to ask you anything. I'm just going to just say this that they said that there was going to be 3 brand new bikes releasing this year, and she wanted them to guess, and then they would win a prize if they met the challenge. So but I'm not going to ask you because I'm not going to put you in the thing. But I'm glad that there's rumors, a little bit of rumors going around that Indian's still not the 25s are not going to be all 24s models. That they're
yeah.
going to have something coming. So that's a good thing. Even since
So
a couple minor
I
updates, it's going to be good. So.
yeah, I think that's a good and a bad, right? I
Hmm.
think it's good, especially if you can keep the lid on what you're
Hmm.
putting out for the competition.
Yeah.
I think that's also good for the dealers because you're not having people being hesitant about buying a bike now versus waiting till later. I mean, you're still going to have those people that want to wait, like myself,
Yeah.
but for the most part, that's not going to happen. Um, but it's just one of those things. They're really tight lipped about. I
Hmm.
mean, they do a really good job at
Yeah.
keeping things under wrap.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give them that because we don't get any information.
I
So
went I went to the Harley Davidson dealership this is a couple of days ago, and I was like in there, and they asked me what I was riding. I said, "Oh, I'm riding a Challenger. What year?" Because they always ask 23, and they're like, "Okay, well, we'll see you later." I'm just kidding. But he was like, "Well, we got the technology, we got this," and I said, "Well, there's rumors out there, and there's going to be a couple of things coming out." He says, "Well, they've released everything." And I said, "Oh, how you know that?" He says, "Well, we got all the training so far. We've done all the training." And he started. We had to watch videos of the Challenger. We had to watch videos of the Chiefs and all that kind of stuff. And I guess they have these training videos that they watch. And I said, "Well,
wow.
there's some surprises. I just want to let you know."
That's crazy, man.
I know.
So I, I like I don't know what's coming out But if someone, like you were saying, you didn't want to ask me, but I can say this because I want to know too. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious, and I have a list of things as far as, because I know everybody's talking about, maybe there's going to be a larger screen or whatever the case may be. My personal opinion on that, I think if they were to fix some of the issues with the ride command and your phone, right?
Yeah.
And it still was the same size display, but everything worked seamlessly, I would take that over just having a larger screen.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then once we get all those bugs worked out, then we can move to the larger screen. But I mean, Ride Command itself by itself works great, at least in my experience. Only problems I have is when it comes to, if my iPhone updates and Ride Command doesn't update, then sometimes they don't talk, right? So I've had some issues there. But other than that, I mean, the system in its own works pretty good.
I think the biggest problem isn't, me and Les had the same issue. One night we went down to Kentucky and one of them, I don't know, fairs or something like that. And on our way back, it was dark. And we were using Ride Command to, navigate out. And it was just spinning. It was spinning in circles, and it would actually take them down roads that were dead ends. And it was like, so I finally got my, because we had no service there because we were just relying on the GPS. I finally got my iPhone working, and I got Waze on there, and we got us out of there because we were just lost. It was like, it was just crazy. And he was supposed to be leading. I actually, it's probably a good thing because I have pretty good eyes. We had a big deer jump out in front of us, and it was pretty scary because it was like, I don't know, 16 points, and it was like only 10 feet from me, and it was running. Yeah, it was crazy. But but that's the only thing I have gripes about it is sometimes it just the navigation is just crazy.
But I mean, if your cell phone doesn't have reception, that bike's not gonna have reception.
Yeah,
you were probably just in the one dead spot in all of Kentucky.
The only issue I've ran into is mine will freeze up occasionally. I get a body ground fault or something that comes up. You have to hit the little gear on the bottom bar of buttons. You hit that, hold it in. I think it's 5 or 6 seconds. It shuts the Ride Command completely down, and then reboots it. And it's okay after that. It's happened 2 or 3 times, but other than that, it works pretty well.
You had a dealer check it out?
Not yet, no. No, I've been too busy writing it.
Well, that one day when you had to, the good thing about his dealership and mine is that I think you just have to call them and they'll bring a trailer and pick you up. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're pretty good people. And, but have you checked your cables? Because that's one thing that's notorious about Indian is the battery cables, man.
I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first thing I did. But it's happened a couple of times, and it always comes right back up, and it works okay. So I'm not getting too off worried about it. It's happened probably 2 or 3 times in a little over 9,000 miles this summer.
So I had my Challenger for about 20,000 miles or so. I don't know that I've ever had any kind of issue with it, to be honest with you. Like, and even my Pursuit, I haven't, because I did a couple of videos talking about, the cost of ownership. And and it ended up being just a video about what mods I did and how much it cost me in total. Right? Because if the ownership, it doesn't cost, it really doesn't, like, again, I do my own oil changes. So every 5,000, 3,000 miles, whatever it is, it's $100. So that's all I spent on my bike for both bikes so far. And so when people are telling me they're having like all these problems and stuff, I'm just like, man, it's, you must have hit the, don't get a lottery ticket or something because you're one of the few.
Yeah, and I had a 17 Roadmaster, and I rode it all the way up to right at 40,000 miles, and the display on it, the infotainment center on it was flawless. Never ever had an issue with it at all. I had a 23 Roadmaster, never had any problem with it. It just seems to be on this particular bike, but we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I've never had issues on the Challenger at all, like you said. But I
Yeah.
think it actually is the rider. If you go to some of these forums and they're like, this thing's been fixed in the garage or whatever it is, 6 times and stuff like that. I think it's got to be the rider. Most of the time, it's they're not telling the whole story. Like the crankshaft is out of the side of the engine. I mean, what did you do? You probably dropped it from sixth to first gear, something like that. And
Right.
yeah, and I've had some issues sometimes where it wasn't the bike's fault. It was me, downshifting too quick and not letting the engine, be ready for it. But because I didn't know I was because I got my clutch in, I'm going down a curve, and didn't know I popped the gear down too far, and the next thing I put it in first, and bam, it's like, oh my God, I about destroyed the engine a couple times. Engine don't be.
I don't put too much stock into that stuff because usually, like if there's a big enough issue, I just take it to the dealership and fix it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
It just this is what it is. That's why you get the warranty. You know what I mean?